Hey everyone, today we are talking about Howard County, Maryland, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this is coming from someone who's not originally from here. So I am a transplant to Maryland, but I have been living here in Howard County, Maryland for the last 8 years. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts on some of my experiences and some things that stand out to me here in the area. So hopefully it'll be helpful for you and your family. So let's jump right into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel, where we talk about all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if that's the kind of information that you are looking for, then you are definitely in the right spot, and we really appreciate you being here. And if you are thinking about making a move here to the area, if you're wondering whether purchasing a home here is the right move for you, we absolutely love helping out in any way possible. So however you feel comfortable reaching out, whether that's by phone, text, or email, days, nights, and weekends, we've got your back when moving here to the great state of Maryland. All right, so as mentioned, today we are discussing Howard County, Maryland, and some of the pros and cons of living here in the area. So I promise you there's more pros than cons. I've been living here for the last 8 years, and we absolutely love it. This is an area that we're gonna be raising our family in. We've got a 2-year-old, and we've got our second boy, an 8-week-old. So things are definitely crazy, but it's absolutely a blast, and we love living here in the area. But I am gonna start with some of the cons, just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect, some of the things to just kind of be prepared for. So no matter which way you slice it, it's pretty expensive when it comes to housing here in the area. So when it comes to median home sales price for single family homes, it's roughly $650,000, which I know is very expensive. It's crazy to me, just how expensive some of the homes have gotten here in the area. But just want to give you an idea of kind of exactly what to expect. There's definitely more affordable options than that in various parts of Howard County. Howard County is a pretty wealthy county. There's a lot of money, and especially in certain parts. So as you get into Western Howard County, some of those real estate values really jump up. So, but if you're looking in certain parts of Columbia, Laurel, Elkridge, there's definitely single family homes in the 5, low 6 range. So just depends on what part you're looking in, because there is a wide range. But that is going to be the median sales price when you kind of look at the entire county as a whole. So, and then when it comes to townhomes, the median sales price is roughly $430,000. So if you're looking at townhomes, if that's going to be a good fit for you, that's what you can expect here in the area. Now, the other thing that contributes to the high cost of purchasing a home and real estate in general is going to be the property taxes here. So when I tell people, or at least the easiest way that I've found to explain it to people when it comes to property taxes, is it's roughly 1 to 1.25% of the resale value of the property. So if you're looking at, or if you were going by the example that I gave you for single family homes, the median sales price is roughly $650,000. You can expect property taxes on that home to be roughly $7,000. On older properties, the older the property is, it might be a little under that. As the property gets a little newer, you may have some front foot fees, reimbursing developers, builders for things like sidewalks, sewer lines, water lines, stuff like that. Those property taxes may get a little more expensive. So the newer the property, you can expect those taxes to be a little more. But that's what you can expect for the single family homes. And then in our example for the median sales price of townhomes being $430,000, you can expect the property taxes to be about $5,000 per year. Our taxes are typically paid twice a year, although you have the option to pay them once a year, but our bills come out July 1. And then they're paid due July 1 and then December 1st as well. So that's typically when those property taxes are paid here in Maryland. Now, the other thing to keep in mind when you live in Maryland is going to be our state income tax. So when you live in Maryland, you pay state income tax in 2 ways. You've got just the straight up state income tax based on whatever your taxable income comes out to be and whatever bracket you fall into. And then it's going to be based on the county that you live in. There's going to be a specific rate depending on that county that you reside in. That's basically going to be piggybacked onto the state, and it's all wrapped in the one state income tax, but it is made up of those 2 factors. So just something to keep in mind too, when you live in Howard County, we pay the highest state, county portion, local, of the state income tax throughout the state. Now, Now, that might sound a little bad when you compare it to other counties surrounding it, like Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Montgomery County, PG County. They're all 3.2%, which is exactly what Howard County is. So you got the 3.2% for the Howard County that you live in, and then that's going to be added to the state income tax portion. So most people are paying somewhere between 6 and 7%, depending on the income level that you fall into. So something to be prepared for when you come here to live in Maryland, and then specifically Howard County. Now, just wanted to give you an idea of what to expect too on some of the other counties that are a little more affordable. You got Carroll County to the north of Howard County. That's 3.0%. So not a huge difference, but if you're looking to really get into an area that's a little more tax friendly, you can look at Carroll County, you can look at Anne Arundel County, which is roughly 2.8%. So again, those are kind of, not huge differences, but something to keep in mind if you're really looking to get away from taxes and be in the most tax friendly areas. Those are a couple areas that you may want to look into as well. All right, con number 2 is going to be, Howard County as a whole, there's not always a ton of options as far as things to do outside of Columbia. So Columbia is kind of the hub of Howard County. If you're looking into Howard County, you're probably definitely going to see Columbia pop up on your radar if you're looking here in the area. And Columbia's got a lot of things to do. They've got a lot of different retail, shopping, parks, walking trails. They've just got so much. So there's definitely a ton to do there. But outside of Columbia, some of the feedback that I've gotten from people is that there's not, a ton of things to do, especially if you're looking for more nightlife. So that's something, if that's important to you, you may not find a ton of that here in Howard County. But if you have a family, we do have a ton of, we're going to get into this on the opposite side of things, but there's a lot of parks and there's a lot of opportunities to get outside and kind of be active and things like that. So if you are looking for more of that nightlife scene, that is something that Howard County as a whole doesn't have a ton, in regards to that to offer. So something to keep in mind as well. All right, and last but not least on the con side of things is going to be prepared for snow days and have a backup plan if you have kids or school age kids rather. So this is something to just keep in mind. Howard County is super, super conservative when it comes to this, when it comes to any kind of ice or a decent amount of snow. But more often than not, if we have a snow day here in Howard County, it's going to be because there's a little bit of ice out there, and the county just doesn't mess around with that kind of stuff. So definitely be prepared if you're working and you've got kids in school. This is something that you just want to be prepared for, to kind of have a backup plan for that kind of stuff. So as I mentioned, more times than not, when we have a snow day here in the area, it's not going to be because of 6 or 12 inches of snow on the ground, although we do get that from time to time. But a lot of times it's going to be because our temperatures kind of hover around high 20s, very low 30s over the night. Maybe there's a little bit of moisture, some rain or something like that. And it just doesn't, kind of hovers around 32 and into the morning and early afternoon. And it's just too risky for the county. They don't like, messing with that kind of stuff. So just kind of being prepared, have a backup plan for those kind of situations, and then you'll be well covered. All right, next we're moving on to the pros, and the first pro that I want to talk about is Howard County as a whole doesn't have a whole lot of traffic. Now, this is going to depend on what you're used to and where you're coming from. For me, my perspective and my experience was coming from Southern California, so LA traffic is up there with some of the worst in the country. But as a whole, I've lived in other parts of the country as well. As a whole, Howard County is not too bad. So you're going to deal with your typical rush hour traffic on parts of 29, on parts of 100 and 95. That's kind of the majority of where you're going to see some of that during rush hour. But outside of that, the highways and the main roads move very well throughout the day and all weekend long. So that's something that you can expect when it comes to traffic. And then the other thing that I like about Howard County is going to be the accessibility and the number of highways that we have really good, easy access to get around throughout central Maryland. So you've got 29 running north-south, pretty much coming north and dead ending right into Howard County. And then if you take that all the way south, that's going to take you to DC's Beltway and straight down into DC. You've got 95, which is going to run you straight north and south from Baltimore to DC. Same as 295, which is Baltimore Washington Parkway. You've also got the old Route 1, which goes all the way down, to Florida. So you've got that running through all of Maryland, including Howard County. And then you've got 32 running east-west. So 32 is going to take you all the way up, and they actually just recently expanded part of this where it meets, where Howard County and Carroll County kind of close to that that meeting point. So you've got 32 running from Carroll County into Western Howard County, and then that takes you all the way like to NSA, takes you right into Fort Meade. So if you guys are coming, if some of you are coming here to Fort Meade or work in that general area, 32 is a great, a great option for commuting, and it's, definitely the expansion has helped alleviate some of that traffic. And then you've also got 100 dead ends into 29, and then it shoots east into Anne Arundel County, taking you 295, Route 1, 295, and then all the way down towards 97 too, which will cut you down into Annapolis. So, and then you've also got 70. So 70 runs east-west, so it goes from Baltimore's Beltway all the way out through Frederick and into Western Maryland. So having access to all these highways, being able to access them and get onto them quickly is something that I think is really cool about Howard County. All right, next is going to be the smaller town feel that Howard County has. And this is something that I've really enjoyed. You just kind of seem to run into people a little more, often here. People definitely seem to know each other. It's got kind of that feel going for it because it is a smaller county. So you've got roughly 335,000 people here in Howard County. And when you compare that to some of the surrounding counties, it's definitely on the smaller side. So to the south, you've got Montgomery County, which is a little over 1 million people. Then you've got PG County next to that. And of course, those two counties are bordering DC. So this kind of makes sense for larger populations. But PG County has almost 1 million people. You've got Baltimore County to the east of us, which has about 850,000 people. And then Anne Arundel County has less. It's got about 600,000 people, but definitely a lot of people in those surrounding counties. So when you compare that to Howard County and only having about 335,000 people, it's just, a smaller town feel, and you just have that feel all throughout the county here, which is something that I've really enjoyed, especially coming from Southern California, where it's just so massive, so many people. You definitely get that vibe here in Howard County, which I love. All right, and then next, I wanted to mention all the parks and the lakes that we have here in Howard County, and this is something that I really love. So I'm going to mention a few here, although there's definitely several more, so feel free to reach out if you want to more information on any others in the area. But a few that I want to mention is going to be Centennial Lake, Centennial Park, kind of goes by both names, but that's on the it's on the Ellicott City Columbia line off of 108 and the 29 merger there. So this is a great, huge park. It's on about 330 acres, so you can really get lost in this area. They've got a good sized lake and a lot of things to do. So that's definitely an area that I would check out. They've got a cool paved loop all around the lake. So just a really cool area to get out and be active and just kind of enjoy all that open green space that they have there. And then Columbia's got some great options as well. So if you really like being outside, if you really like having walking trails and things like that, kind of all throughout your neighborhoods and kind of right in your backyard, Columbia is definitely an area you want to check out. They do a great job with having these interconnected trails all throughout Columbia. You do pay for it through Columbia's city tax, so that's something that I've talked about in a lot of my Columbia specific videos, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions about how that works. But Columbia is a great area because of those trails that they have. They've got 3 man-made lakes that they own and operate. So you got Lake Kittamakundi, which is near Columbia Mall. You've got Wild Lake, and then you've got Lake Elkhorn. All have paved walking trails around the lakes, and they're very scenic and very fun spots to go to. Very family friendly picnic areas, lots of open green grass and space to picnic and just hang out. So these are definitely areas that I would check out. And then you've got Rockburn Park in Elkridge. So this is a very cool spot as well. Laurel's got several parks if you want to hop online and look at those as well. And then the last thing I want to mention is going to be Patapsco State Park, and this runs all throughout kind of the eastern part all the way through the northern part of Howard County, bordering or being the separating line rather from Howard County to Baltimore County, and then Howard County to Carroll County as you move west. So Patapsco State Park it's massive. You can, just spend so much time back there. There's multiple different entry points. They've got the lake that runs, right through it. And they've got, trails back there. They're not paved, but they're, people bike, mountain bike back there. There's a lot of hiking to do back there, just tons of woods. The dam is an area where people go out there and swim and kind of hang out. So looking into that is definitely something I would recommend as well. All right, and last but not least is going to be the great schools that Howard County has. And this is something that's well known all throughout the state. Howard County consistently ranks top in Maryland for its schools. It's something that's a huge attraction and a huge draw for the county. So this is definitely something to look into, especially if schools are of top importance for you and your family. And the other thing, specific to schools, is that Howard County really does put, a large focus on their special ed program. So if that's something specifically that you're looking for, Howard County is, again, something that I would look into. They put a lot of focus and a lot of money and resources towards that. Now, as I mentioned, Howard County is a smaller county. It's 335,000 people. They just passed, or this past year, for 2022, 2023, they passed a $1.1 billion budget passed by the Board of Education in Howard County. So tons of resources, huge percentage of our property taxes going towards the school here, the schools here in the area. So definitely something to look into if you've got kids, if schools are something that are of top importance to you. Definitely something that the county, is very, very well known for. And if you want more information about specific schools, I would hop on greatschools.org. I'll put the website below here in the description. It's a really cool website where you can check out parent reviews, you can check out demographics, you can check out various things about the county and about the specific schools here in the area. So if you want to see student to teacher ratios, student to counselor ratios, if you want to see the percentage of teachers here in a particular school that have 3 or more years of experience, you can see that. So it's a really cool website that gives you a ton of different information, and I would highly recommend checking that out if you are interested in looking into particular schools here in the area. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you ever have any questions about moving here to the area or need anything at all, please feel free to reach out, and we'll see you at the next video.